Spence won last 6 rounds with Crawford?
I don't know. We have to see what kind of shape Spence is in after that car wreck. A lot of people don't know the speculation because of the car wreck, what it did to him, but the car wreck didn't bother him too bad. We'll see. Crawford's a bad boy, but Spence, Spence is a pressure cooker, so if he can maintain with Crawford early, then he can make a good fight. But if he ain't on his game, they might be right.
Roy Jones Jr. says it could be over in 6. Maybe the critics are right for Errol Spence if he fights Terence Crawford and if he's not the same since the car wreck. That's what I want to examine and talk about in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. The opening clip was Roy Jones Jr. Didn't I just say that? It's a take sometimes you take something. I'm coming to get you beat me. I said, okay, we had a good night. I'm still coming to get it, baby. Pensacola in the house. Now, Roy Jones spoke his piece in front of the media, and he basically said that we don't know how Errol Spence Jr. is and what he can endure based on the car wreck. So, it could be an early night. He's a pressure cooker, and Terence Crawford's a bad boy himself. Now, I will keep saying the same things regarding this particular fight. Hopefully the fight happens. Crawford is an amazing fighter. Errol Spence is an amazing fighter. I'm not really mad at anybody picking either guy because they're both reputable and respected names in the sport of boxing. So, you really could go either way with the fight in terms of a prediction. The problem I have is the predictions that I have heard for Crawford particularly, it's stuff that, I don't really tend to agree with, and I don't really see the logic behind it, if you will. Like, for example, I made a video about this already. Roy Jones Jr. had basically said on his podcast that Mikey Garcia was never hurt versus Errol Spence Jr. And I totally disagree with that, being someone who was at the fight ringside, right? I just didn't see that. I didn't see Mikey. I thought Mikey was getting battered around the ring. And to think Errol Spence Jr. was, it looked like, making an attempt to beat Mikey at his own game. And if you guys look at Errol Spence's temperament, that's what he's done his whole career. His whole career has been, I'm a dog and you're not finna beat me with whatever game plan you got, and I could beat you at your own game. I'm that good, right? Like, look at the balls to go to Sheffield, England to fight Kell Brook. So realistically, I got me fight with Errol and I couldn't get many. And realistically, I tried to get Amir Khan, and Kell Brook was talking a good game. See, the great thing about me is I've been in the game for so long, so I get to see it, and I live these moments in real time, and I was a successful YouTuber in real time. So I remember Kell Brook was saying Errol Spence was the Jeff Lacey of boxing, and I don't know why you Americans are so high up on Errol. What has he done? And saying all this stuff, and Errol Spence went and stopped him in his backyard, and his career, to me, was never the same. That back-to-back guys, Max, back-to-back punishing fights where both of his orbitals on different side were basically damaged. So Errol Spence, that was one opportunity, an example of him beating at someone at their own game. Mikey Garcia, no different. I think Mikey Garcia, some people were saying, oh, he's at the snack gym and he's a supreme boxer and he's the superb boxer, so he's going to go in and box the ears off of Errol Spence. And Errol Spence is like, not in my city, not in my state, Texas. The fight was in Texas. None of that's going to happen. And he dominated. So, I haven't really found myself agreeing with some of the commentary from Roy Jones and other boxing legends that I respect, just based on what is being said. Now, the other thing is, like you guys see in the title, the notion about Errol Spence Jr. and Errol Spence Jr., is he the same since the car wreck and things like that? My thing is this: why is that even a talking point when he's already had 2 fights since the car wreck? I just don't get it. I'm a pretty rational and logical person, and I get through life like that, using and employing logic. I'm not really an emotional person. And I feel like if ever there was a time for people to question the trajectory of Errol Spence Jr. and would he be the same after the wreck? I think the time for that would have, if anything, been the Danny Garcia fight. Because Danny Garcia, that was a dice roll. Because the car wreck had just happened. Danny Garcia is a veteran. Danny Garcia is pretty big. As you guys can see, he's moving up to 154. Danny has a punch. So that was an extremely comeback, dangerous fight for Errol Spence to just come straight into the kitchen, where it could have been a kitchen fire, and he neutralized that situation. I thought he beat Danny Garcia so convincingly. Angel Garcia was like almost yelling at Danny Garcia post-fight, and you could tell he was like super disappointed because Danny was not. If anything, Danny's losses were all close. He was like a Sean Porter type of person where he lost to Porter. It was super close. I thought he won, The Keith Thurman, I thought Keith Thurman won the Danny Garcia fight, but in the back half, Keith Thurman gave up a lot of rounds, and Danny having heart and power and stuff, it became close. So all in all, Danny had that type of career, right? Outside of maybe Mauricio Herrera fight, I thought Herrera beat him, and maybe even Lamont Peterson, where that was kind of iffy for some people. I think Danny Garcia, for the most part, he was always in compelling fights, and when he fought Errol, it was kind of one-way traffic. And then now he took a long, lengthy layoff, and he's coming back in a new division. So that's what tends to happen when you fight Errol Spence. So if ever there was a moment where we should kind of question, in my opinion, question Errol Spence, is he the same? Is he rattled? Is his bones the same? Is he shaken up? Wouldn't it be closer to the accident? He's since fought 2 other people. So I'm not really understanding this notion, and I'm not understanding this logic of talking about the car wreck. And, it's just insane to see that we live in a society where it's the land of opportunity, home of the brave, all this stuff, freedom, democracy, and people take some of your lowest moments and try to reduce you to that. Like, look at people like Malcolm X. Malcolm X, when he was younger, he was like a shoe shiner and a waiter. But a lot of people, if you read the autobiography of Malcolm X was hustling. He was gambling, racketeering, and, hustling and selling drugs and things like that back in the day. And he got arrested for burglary charges. He burgled somebody or whatever. And the point is, Malcolm X, if he's reduced to crimes and stuff he did when he was early 20s, like, he wouldn't be this historic figure if that just got held over his head, right? Robert Downey Jr. I mean, before Iron Man, he had a lot of stints in jail and problems with the law and drugs and stuff like that, but he worked past that and overcame that. And then now, he's one of the highest paid actors and, done a lot of great movies since that point. But it's just weird because we live in a society where some people still try to hold the worst moment over your head. And listen, I'm not condoning drunk driving or DUIs or anything like that, but he made a mistake and he's had to pay for it. And he has to, being separated from your family is the ultimate sacrifice and pay. You could have really been out of here, and left this world. So I don't understand the constant talk about the wreck as if Errol's whole career is just a wreck. Like, he just fought Ugas and looked superb and sharp. So I'm not really understanding all this jargon and, talk and conversation about the wreck. If anything, he's already given us 2 fights. And if he loses to Terence Crawford, or if he wins, I don't think the wreck is going to be the deciding factor. He looked in better shape versus Ugas than he did before the wreck, when he fought Sean Porter and Mikey Garcia. That's my thoughts. Subscribe to the channel, and I'm out. Introducing Super Thanks, right here on the official Boxing Ego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new interactive and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC, Bluetooth ready, with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description, customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.